Episode 117, The Concierge Show. Today is a step-by-step episode as I share my checklist and the tools and resources I use to start a new side hustle for me, Murphy Concierge. And you are listening to episode number 117 of Mike Murphy Unplugged. Learn, create, move forward. I am your host, Mike Murphy. I'm a one-man band. I'm a technology junkie. I love helping people figure things out, and I am really excited to be here with you today. The goal of Mike Murphy Unplugged, it's to help you learn what you need to know in order to create online content so you can move forward in business and in life. So welcome to this episode 117, The Concierge Show. Today is for those of you looking to add a side hustle to your existing business or in addition to your full or part-time employment. In this episode 117, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of a new side hustle that I just created called Murphy Concierge. So what is Murphy Concierge? Why did I start it? What steps did I take to get started? What tools and resources did I use? And what are my goals for Murphy Concierge? So if you are ready, let's get into this side hustle episode 117, and I'm going to start with the definition. What does the term side hustle mean? Well, there's a really good description, I think, from Entrepreneur Magazine. A side hustle is a way to make some extra cash that allows you flexibility to pursue what you're most interested in. It can also be your true passion. A chance to delve into fashion, travel, or whatever it is you care about the most without quitting your day job. In that first sentence, though, I think it's really important. It says it allows you the flexibility to pursue what you're most interested in. So a side hustle is how many freelancers and one-man bands get started. And it is a great strategy if you are looking to leave your day job or if you want to work for yourself. If you just start a side hustle because there's little financial pressure and you can build it up slowly. Remember, everything you do takes time. A side hustle can be garage selling or can be buying and selling things on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or lemonade stands for kids. And they usually start with something that you are naturally good at or that people always ask you to do. And if you start your side hustle that involves your true passion and your talent, you have a much better shot at developing it into a sustainable business. And now for a side resource tip. There are two really good podcasts about side hustles that I recommend you go check out if you are looking for ideas or inspirations to make a few extra bucks on the side or possibly to replace your current job income so you can go work for yourself someday. The first is called Side Hustle Nation by Nick Loper. He interviews side hustlers and he gets really detailed about every part of the process. So it can be very helpful if you listen to an episode on a topic that interests you. And the second podcast that I recommend on this topic is Side Hustle School. This is by Chris Guillebeau. This is an everyday podcast, so it's 7 days a week, but the episodes are very short, usually under 10 minutes. Now, Side Hustle School doesn't go nearly in depth or in detail as Side Hustle Nation does, but these episodes are great if you just want to get some idea generation and hearing some of the unique ways that people have managed to start small and then build their side hustle to a substantial living for many. So what I like about both of these shows is that in most cases, the people really did not know what they were doing and making things up along the way, which is really what nearly everyone does. The social media influencers and the people who appear to be really successful online or in the business world are human, just like you and just like me. And they stumbled and fumbled and worked really hard just like you. So keep at it and never compare yourself to anyone else because you don't know where they got started. And know that you have every bit of what it takes if you have the drive, the motivation, and some skills to boot. So let's move on and I'll share my blueprint for my new side hustle, Murphy Concierge. My tagline is the tech-handyman, and I pretty much do the same thing I do online, only in person. I help people figure out their tech, and I teach those who want to have more control over their devices, such as iPhones, iPads, and Macs. Now, I have always sort of been the neighborhood fixer of Apple products and computer stuff, but the only problem was I did everything pro bono, aka for free. I can no longer do that as my time is limited and I need to pay the bills. So after getting a few similar jobs, I decided to put more effort into marketing my concierge tech services in my local neighborhoods and start generating revenue for my knowledge and my time. I live in Florida, so my client base is going to be an older demographic, but that happens to be my sweet spot, so everything is a very good fit for me. Murphy Concierge is going to focus mostly on the residential, but it will likely spill into small businesses and personal brands, but my main goal is to get in with a neighborhood and to work primarily off of referrals and word-of-mouth business. I pride myself on being reliable and trustworthy, and I've been in the service industry for my entire life, so the concierge vibe really resonates with me. I anticipate a majority of my business is going to be helping people with their iDevices and Macs, and the value for them is convenience and saving people time and a trip to the Apple Store, as I am going to be doing everything in the comforts of their own home. Why did I start this side hustle? Well, a big part of it was financial, and partly because it's a low-hanging fruit for me, and it's work that I love to do. I've been putting all of my focus on building my personal brand and creating content to generate revenue, but it's the long game that I'm working on online, and I need to sustain myself until the fruits of my labor pay off, so to speak, and it just makes sense to advertise and market myself more locally, as I know there is a demand for my services, and it is a really good fit for me. So up until now, my local game has really been just word of mouth and getting jobs as people call me, but now it's time for me to take it up a notch and let people know that I am available to help with a professional presence. So what steps did I take to get this ball rolling, to get it started? What tools and resources did I use? Well, Murphy Concierge is under Mike Murphy LLC, so I'm not having to create a new business model. I'm keeping it very simple and scrappy, but in order to self-promote and market freelance services, you really need a home on the web and some basic branding. If you are in the process of starting a personal brand or a side hustle or your online business, my biggest piece of advice if you're just getting going is don't dwell on the logo and the branding and the business cards and the marketing pieces and all that stuff. Yes, they're important eventually, but they are not important to get off the ground running. Just get the bare minimum of what you need and get started. I decided 5 days ago to start up Murphy Concierge officially, and on the same day I created a logo, I created a website, a list of services, pricing, and I also set up the email so I could send and receive messages through mike@murphyconcierge.com. All I really needed to get going. Here's what I did. I already owned the domain name murphyconcierge.com because my subconscious knew that I would eventually get to it, but my first step when thinking of any new idea is to go to GoDaddy.com and check to see if it is available. If it's not available, I usually type in the web address and go see if that site is active or see if there's a working business, but most likely I might change the name if the domain name is not available. It's also not a bad idea to check and see if the social media names are available. For that, I use namechecker.com. I'll leave links to everything I mentioned today in the show notes, so don't worry. But namechecker.com will go through all the social media channels and tell you if that profile name is available. And FYI, I do not create social media profiles every time I come up with an idea, and I have not done so yet with Murphy Concierge. But I think it's always a good idea in case this idea does take off that I know what's in store for me in the future. So I think the key to getting side hustles like this off the ground is to stay bare bones and focus more on getting a couple customers right out of the door and then worry about all the frills and all the fancy stuff later. Okay, next it was time for the web. I went to my new web host, SiteGround, which I'm very happy with. I figured out how to add my new domain, and then I also installed a fresh copy of WordPress.org, which took me all about 5 to 10 minutes. I then went over to elegantthemes.com, where I have a lifetime membership, and I downloaded a fresh copy of the Divi WordPress theme, which I mostly love, and then I uploaded that to my new WordPress install at murphyconcierge.com. And I had the framework of a brand new website that looked pretty decent, built in under an hour. Next on the agenda, I logged into Google G Suite and I added Murphy Concierge as a domain alias so I could start sending and receiving emails at mike@murphyconcierge.com. One of the many reasons that I love G Suite is that I have one account for mikemurphy.co, but I can add unlimited domains and have unlimited email addresses all personalized to different websites that I might have. The whole process takes me about 10 minutes now because I've done it so many times. It can get a little complicated at first, but it's really no big deal to set that up. Next, I created a very simple logo in Adobe Illustrator. I added a Vespa icon from the Adobe stock library. I chose a font that had a little retro blue collar feel to it, which I like. I get everywhere on my bike or on my Vespa. So in about 10 to 15 minutes, I had a simple logo that matched me and my brand. I did not even worry about the colors. In fact, I might even keep this brand black and white for now, as it's as simple as possible. And tip, if you are not familiar with Photoshop or Illustrator and you really don't have much design skills, go to canva.com. They have logo templates right there to get you going, or at least it's a good starting point or inspiration if you do have a little bit of a design knowledge or you can use one of those programs. And another logo tip, for those of you familiar with the website Squarespace, their sites are beautifully designed. They have beautiful typography. Well, Squarespace also has a logo generator site. It's going to cost you $10 to have a really nice, simple logo, but the typography is spot on. You can go to logo.squarespace.com. If you want to spend $10, you can have a really nice and simple logo. Do not overthink this part of the process. Trust me. Just do your best. Have some nice type that says what the name of your business is and move on. And if you do want to add some color to your logo or your brand, the two resources that I primarily use for generating color palettes is Adobe Color. This is free for everybody, but it's built right into the Adobe Creative Cloud. And the second one, also free, is coolors.co. That's coolors.co. Both of these can allow you to generate a color palette in no time. And the last thing I did was create business cards. I will use them digitally at first until I'm able to get some printed. I make animated business cards in Adobe After Effects, but you could do them in any video program. Keynote would work, ScreenFlow, Camtasia, or you could use Adobe Spark Online. You can also create business cards and just about everything else you need for your business or your side hustle or your brand on Canva.com. My priority is just to have things to share with people to promote my services. It does not matter if your website is complete or your graphics are all polished at this point. You need to have your name, your phone number, your email, and your website available so people can reach you and they can see that you exist so they can make a connection with you. Fill in the gaps and the holes later. Finally, you need a way to get paid. The easier you make it for people to pay you, the faster you're going to get paid. PayPal is a really easy option to get started. Square is also an extremely easy option, and you can swipe your credit cards using your iPhone, so that's nice. But my favorite invoicing tool by far is FreshBooks. It's $25 per month. It's easy, it's enjoyable to use for me and the clients. It syncs across all of my devices, and it makes getting paid extremely easy. You can go try out a free trial by going to mikemurphy.co/FreshBooks if you want to give that a spin. Okay, let's close things down with a recap. I decided to launch MurphyConcierge.com as more and more people keep requesting my help with tech-related issues to Apple devices, internet stuff, making online content, videos, organizing photos, backup, all the stuff that I love and can't get enough of. While I'm building my long-term online business, I realize that there is a lot of income-generating opportunity right in my backyard, and it is up to me to let people know that they have a reliable and trustworthy tech handyman just a phone call or an email away. This is a passion project because I genuinely enjoy helping people solve digital problems, and I genuinely need to support my simple but not free life. So the first step was to take action by committing to the idea. Step 2, I decided on a name, mostly because I already owned the domain and I've always liked the concierge style business. Step 3, I went over to SiteGround, my new web host, and I installed a fresh copy of WordPress. I configured my domain name and I installed Divi Theme by Elegant Themes. Step 4, I configured the MX records on SiteGround, that's some nerd speak for you, so that I could have email addresses for MurphyConcierge.com, which I think is a major step in making your brand or side hustle legit. Website and matching email is basic, but very, very important. Step 5, I created a basic logo that I'm going to use to market myself, and I made business cards that I will have printed soon as they are necessary when doing local business. Now, I realize I simplified a lot of this stuff, and a lot of the stuff is much easier for me now because I do it all the time. So your time may take a little longer than a couple hours to put this all together, but my point is not to deliberate over the minutia and just steamroll ahead, focusing on having a way for people to contact you and to have some web and brand presence to build trust. My website as of now has mostly placeholder lorem ipsum text. There's stock photos on it, and that is okay. I'll get to it soon enough. But I have found that just putting up a bare bones website is a huge motivator, and it makes you move faster. I know that the site is live, so I'm excited. I also know that I don't want people to come visit it and have it make no sense to them, so I'm going to get to it faster and move me forward. It's a life hack that I do for myself, but the mindset is to not sweat the small stuff and just get to it as you can. My goals for this? My goal is to generate $5,000 per month from MurphyConcierge.com. I am charging $75 an hour to start, so that is approximately 2.5 jobs per day. I do not plan on working 7 days a week, and many jobs are going to go over an hour, so I think this is very doable if I can tap into a neighborhood and get plenty of referrals. This is not going to happen overnight, but it will happen one client at a time. Which leads me to my final step and last tip. How am I going to market myself and spread the word? Well, I'm going to send my animated business card to friends and let them know that I am officially seeking new clients as Murphy Concierge and to spread the word or keep me in mind. Easy. If you have friends with a big Facebook community, maybe ask them to give you a shout out or a mention. You don't want to go crazy and scream from the rooftops, but plant seeds wherever you can. I can tell you that having the foundation in place like a website and email makes it much easier to feel confident to market your services. Facebook, Instagram, very powerful tools that I will eventually take advantage of if I cannot build up enough organic business through word of mouth and more grassroots marketing. But one tool that I want to share with you that I discovered around the time of Hurricane Irma is an iPhone app called Nextdoor. Nextdoor is an easy way for people to connect and communicate with their neighbors and let people know of things like crime alerts or lost cats, or to get recommendations for a good plumber or electrician or a tech-handyman perhaps. Now, as of this recording, it has only been 2 days since I posted an announcement on Nextdoor about Murphy Concierge, but the post had potential to reach 1,900 people, all within 5 miles of me. I've already gotten 2 inquiries so far, and my post was trending in the app. So, I'll keep you posted, but definitely give Nextdoor a look. It was not set up for businesses to promote, but I think if you're savvy, if you're honest, you could have a lot of marketing potential for freelancers and side hustlers. That is going to do it for today, but my main goal of this podcast, as many of you know, is to share my journey and the process so that it might help you or inspire you to create the life you want and learn about the tools and the tips that are available to make things online and make things easier to succeed. So hopefully you took something away from the steps that I took today or to share with you today about how to get Murphy Concierge off the ground while I continue to build my long-term brand of Mike Murphy LLC. If you need help with anything that I've talked about, I do offer 1-hour consulting calls if you want to get really deep dive, or you can always email me or reach out to me on social for any time if I can answer any questions for you. I thank you for joining me today. I hope you join my one-man band, and together we can learn, create, and move forward. Cheers.